Ultra Magnus is one of the most pivotal and enduring characters in the Transformers franchise. Known for his role as the city commander of the Autobots, he has been a prominent figure in multiple Transformers continuities. Often depicted as a formidable warrior with a sense of humility and responsibility, Ultra Magnus has built a legacy of bravery, leadership, and complex relationships with key figures, including Optimus Prime. What is Ultra Magnus' role among Transformers Autobots? In the original Generation 1 G1 continuity, Ultra Magnus was introduced as the city commander for the Autobots, responsible for overseeing Autobot City and managing the giant Titan Transformer, Metroplex. He first appeared in the Transformers, the movie 1986, where his design underwent a change from its original Diaclone colors to the more iconic blue, white, and red. While Magnus had the physical prowess to lead the Autobots, he was known for his reluctance to take on leadership roles, especially following Optimus Prime's death. Despite this, Ultra Magnus was entrusted with the Autobot matrix of leadership in the Transformers, the movie, although it ultimately chose Hot Rod to become the new leader, Rodimus Prime. Magnus then took on the role of second-in-command and advisor, further solidifying his position as a key figure in the Autobot ranks. Ultra Magnus' humility and devotion to the cause set him apart from other Autobots. He is more concerned with the success of the mission than personal glory, which is reflected in his leadership of the Wreckers, a brutal and highly effective team of Autobots. Even in this role, Magnus never sought fame, instead prioritizing the survival of his team and the successful completion of missions. Transformers, robots in disguise and animated radically changed Ultra Magnus. While G1 Ultra Magnus is perhaps the most iconic, other iterations of the character have appeared throughout the Transformers franchise, offering fresh takes on his personality and backstory. Transformers, Robots in Disguise, 2001, introduced a version of Ultra Magnus, known as God Magnus in Japan. Here, he was depicted as Optimus Prime's brother, a powerful Autobot who harbored resentment towards Optimus after being passed over for leadership. Eventually, he and Optimus reconcile and combine their power to form Omega Prime. Transformers, Animated portrayed Ultra Magnus as a high-ranking Autobot who is a superior to both Optimus Prime and Sentinel Prime. Magnus played an important role in mentoring Optimus, pushing him to be a leader. However, Magnus' personality here was more rigid and authoritative, showing the character's more traditional, no-nonsense leadership style. Transformers, Prime returned to a more traditional interpretation, with Ultra Magnus serving as Optimus Prime's second-in-command. While still a formidable warrior, Magnus in this series showed a more complex side, often making difficult leadership decisions that caused friction with some Autobots, including Wheeljack. His leadership of the Wreckers in this series was marked by his tough love approach. Is Ultra Magnus related to Optimus Prime in Transformers? The question of Ultra Magnus' relationship to Optimus Prime has been a topic of much speculation and variation in different continuities. In Generation 1, Magnus is depicted as a completely separate character with no familial ties to Optimus Prime, though they share strikingly similar designs, with Magnus being a white repaint of Optimus' original toy. This design choice, harking back to the original Diaclone toys, never explicitly addresses their relationship within the show itself. However, certain continuities like Transformers, Robots in Disguise, 2001, and the Dreamwave comics have suggested that Magnus and Optimus are brothers, adding a familial dynamic to their bond. In Transformers, Prime, Ultra Magnus is portrayed as an honorary brother to Optimus, sharing a deep respect and occasionally clashing over leadership decisions. What vehicle does Ultra Magnus transform into? Ultra Magnus vehicle mode has always been a key aspect of his character design. In Generation 1, Ultra Magnus transforms into a car carrier, a massive truck that can transport other Autobots. This vehicle mode is one of the most iconic in the franchise, especially since it is capable of combining with his trailer to form a larger robot. In Transformers, Robots in Disguise, Ultra Magnus vehicle mode was updated to a more modern car carrier truck, with the robot mode being less reliant on the trailer for transformation. Transformers, Animated had him transform into a Cybertronian truck, which later became an Earth-based M983 heavy expanded mobility tactical truck when he arrived on Earth. In Transformers Prime, Ultra Magnus' design returned to a more G1-inspired aesthetic but with a twist, as he became a blue repaint of Optimus Prime, retaining a similar vehicle mode. The updates to his design continued in the War for Cybertron trilogy, where he returned to a more classic G1-inspired form. What are Ultra Magnus weapons in the Transformers franchise? Ultra Magnus has wielded a variety of weapons throughout his appearances, often choosing tools that reflect his mighty strength and combat abilities. In Generation 1, he carried a rifle that distinguished him from Optimus Prime, who is typically depicted wielding the iconic Ion Blaster. Magnus' rifle was just one of his many tools for dealing with Decepticons, and his robot mode also had the ability to deploy missiles from the arms. In Transformers Animated, Ultra Magnus wielded a mighty hammer that could control lightning, evoking the mythological god Thor. This hammer concept was so popular that it carried over to later continuities such as Transformers, Prime, and other media within the aligned continuity. In this series, his hammer could even transform into an artillery cannon, adding another layer of versatility to his arsenal. Despite these differences, Ultra Magnus weapons typically reflect his role as a tactician and leader, using brute strength and tactical thinking to defeat his enemies rather than relying on complex weaponry or tricks. Conclusion: Ultra Magnus' evolution across various Transformers continuities showcases his versatility and enduring popularity. From his humble beginnings as a second-in-command in Generation 1 to his more authoritative portrayals in Transformers Animated and Prime, Ultra Magnus continues to be a symbol of unwavering leadership, duty, and sacrifice. Whether he's serving as Optimus Prime's confidant or a rebellious sibling in Robots in Disguise, Ultra Magnus stands as one of the most integral Autobots in the Transformers universe.